Today on the Digital Investors Podcast, we have two very special students of ours. They're in our Champions program, and wait till you hear their success. If you're looking to get out of corporate, you definitely want to listen to this interview, because just last week I was chatting to Derek on a coaching call, and he happened to mention to me that, hey, Matt, Courtney and I have just hit our second $15,000 a month. It gets better. We're now in July. And he said, since January, we've actually been making about $10,000 a month. And I said to Derek, you're not meant to do that in your first year on Champions. It's a learning year, not an earning year. So today's special guests, let's welcome Derek and Courtney, who have just smashed it out of the court in terms of results in their very first year on the Champions program. What we want to do today is get their story. How have they been hitting such huge numbers within such a short amount of time through what we're teaching here at eBusiness Institute? So guys, I want to say a big welcome and a special big thank you for sharing what you're about to share, what you're doing here with these amazing results. So guys, welcome aboard today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Privileged to be here.
Yeah, it is. Really excited.
You should be very proud. You're going to get lots more excited, guys, or there's going to be a lot of excited people in our community listening to this podcast today because this is Sensational Results. Let's look. So you're on our Champions program, which runs, those of you who are listening to this who haven't heard about that, it's a high-level coaching program that we run here at eBusiness Institute. And we personally train people for 12 months. So 12 months ago, well, it's not quite 12 months yet. It was back in August or September last year that you guys joined.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Where were you at? So Derek, what were you doing? What's your background?
Yeah, so corporate sales background for me. No technical knowledge at all coming in, but we've been following and listening to the podcast. And this is not a line. I've been listening to every podcast, for a long time. And February, March last year, we made the decision to jump headfirst into digital investors. So we started that in March officially. And even before we'd completed everything, we'd had decided that we wanted to join Champions as well. So we did that in August, September, as soon as it was released. And we've just gone all in since this time last year. But yeah, corporate sales background for me.
And Courtney, for you?
I'm a senior admin manager and projects officer in mental health. So
wow.
Yeah.
So let me guess, Courtney, you got a pretty full-on role there. I know, Derek, we'll come back to you in a minute. You've got a full-on role too. But Courtney, is that a pretty full-on role?
Yeah, it is. It's really full on. It takes a lot of mental energy. But yeah, I love it, but it's now time. 12 months ago, I made the decision that we needed a change. Wanted the work-life balance. And here we are.
And we should mention too, you're in a very senior role in government health. So everyone knows what that entails, and in mental health, but also family-wise. Just paint a picture there, Courtney.
Yeah, so I've got two young boys. So Noah, he's 4, and my youngest, Hugo, he's 20 months. So it's been quite the juggle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously you guys know Pete and Renee, very similar. Yeah. It's sounding like there's some parallels here. Sounds like you were inspired by Pete and Renee.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Starting a new family, life balance. So if you're listening to this, what we're going to do today is go through how these guys have been able to set this up. Because Derek, I'll come back to you. Your role rolls off the tongue a bit. You're in corporate and whatever. Yep. What was the industry? Just to put it in context so people understand where you're at. And what was the specific role?
So I was in a senior business management, so kind of like a GM role for a large liquor company, but I was traveling a lot, so I kind of managed the Asia Pacific region, constantly in and out of a plane, hard with family, burnt out, but also had a very secure wage. So it was a hard decision to want to leave, but we knew that we wanted to, as Court mentioned, just get the work-life balance happening. And all the stories that we heard from the Champions kind of inspired us just to, and kind of got that moment that, why not us? And so we thought we'd, give it our best shot.
And in order to do that, now you're not meant to do this, but you broke a few rules that we say. And the number one is you threw in your job. So when did you quit your job?
Yeah, so it's literally, we just clicked over 12 months anniversary as well. We celebrated as well as Court's birthday recently. But to be honest, I've almost got 2 or 3 years of learning in the last 9 months. Like that's kind of how it feels.
So guys, you came on a Champions. So Derek, you quit your job to do this, which we don't suggest if you're listening to this, but you guys are smart. It worked here. But also one of the reasons you quit your job was burnout. You decided to back yourself for 12 months. And that's what you said to us on the interview. So that was your choice there. Courtney, what's your work situation? You didn't quit your job.
No, so I was actually going back from maternity leave. So I went back to work from maternity leave last year. And I went back full time initially, but I've just recently dropped back to part time.
Cool. So what's part-time look like for you?
So it's 4 days a week at the moment.
4 days a week.
With the goal in
Right.
the next couple of months to drop back even more. So,
Okay.
and then
Awesome. All right. So we're just painting a picture for everyone here, what can be achieved if someone's like you guys working in corporate, obviously earning very good money between the two of you. So this is gutsy. Well done, guys. There's a strong driver here. You've started a new family. You've taken a big risk to back yourself in terms of just taking a break from full-time employment for a while, Derek, and you're basically a GM. So serious commitment there, which is impressive in itself. If you're listening to this, I'm not recommending you do that. It's just this was the guy's choice, but obviously we can see it's worked. So you got into Champions. What's the main strategy you decided to follow? Because in Champions, obviously, we're teaching you how to build cash flow from your digital skills. And we teach two main strategies, which is digital agency and buying and selling websites. What did you guys decide to go for and why?
Yeah, so this has been an interesting reflection for us too, but we made the decision, and I think this has been favorable for our situation, which is we very, very early, I think almost from the start, we knew that we wanted to start a digital agency. We wanted to build an asset that, like eventually we could either step away from or sell or something like that. We heard the stories of people like Peter and Renee who are having amazing success. And it's not just them, by the way, there's so many other champions. And so that was our strategy from the get-go. And I'll be honest, it's been hard at times because there are so many other strategies that and they all work. There's always examples of people that are doing exceptionally well with all the strategies, but we have chosen just to, constantly stay laser focused on the digital agency, and that's what we're doing.
Well done, guys. And I think that focus has paid off really well. And so you guys have done this as a couple together. So Courtney, you've worked very closely with Derek on this as well.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, Derek's in there full time during the day, overnight time, my routine, put the kids down, and then I'm working from 7 till midnight most nights, just getting everything done. So
well done, Courtney. You rock. That is super, super cool. So Derek,
Superwoman.
Really nice dinners, many, many nice dinners, and nanny help, and well done.
Yeah.
Because we all know, everyone listening to this knows how hard that is. What you're doing during your daytime work, and so the two of you, obviously high achievers. You've gotten into this. You backed each other. You got huge support with each other doing this. So Derek, for you, we want to know, how did you get to this point where you're now making $15,000 a month? What was your first steps that you took besides learning the strategy of what we're teaching? For you guys, what worked well quickly? Because it seems like this thing went like a rocket ship pretty, like within 3 months of joining Champions, things started to take off for you. So what did you do?
Yeah, well, we got lucky too, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of things. Our first paid client was actually before we started Champions, just through a photographer. And I was cheeky to Court. I said to Court, look, just, see if she wants a website. She doesn't have a website. And she said yes. And so that gave us a little bit of confidence. You kind of learn as you go. But then the first kind of game changer, because there were two, the first game changer was actually someone that Court met in Mother's Group. And I'll let her tell the story because I was apprehensive in posting anything on social media about what we were doing. I was a little bit, I don't know, like I didn't have confidence to kind of put ourselves out there, whereas my wife went the other way. And do you want to?
Go, Courtney.
Yeah, so I created a Facebook business page. quite early on. And from that, I was really excited to share with our family and friends what we're doing. So I just put a Facebook post out saying, hey, this is what we're doing. If you need a website, need anything SEO, just, share with your friends. And that my friend from Mother's Group that I met a few years ago, I had no idea what her business was. Picked up the phone, called us, and it turns out she was this amazing lady. She's got a small business of 20 plus employees and services the country. So
wow. And at that point, this was right when we started and finished the first kind of champions, online, the first workshop. I remember very clearly having a conversation with Caleb about this, because I'm like, far out, we're just starting. What do we do? And as always, he gives really good advice. And or the advice that I heard him say was, just be honest with the client, which we were. We were honest that we were just starting out, honest in what we could and couldn't do. We still ended up, because of the complexity of the client, charging them $2,000 off the bat. And so that kind of got us going. And to be honest, when you start charging that kind of money when you're learning, there's no motivator like it to take on all the learnings and find your own way. So that kind of put our first rocket. And then the second one, we got lucky through BNI as well. With another client there.
So for you guys, like a lot of champions have found, you joined a business networking group called BNI. That's worked. But before that, it was Courtney's networking in a mother's group, plus your Facebook group, the private Facebook page. Guys, this is sensational. And then I think that's one of the things that we should point out here. We've got amazing coaches here like Caleb, who's, you guys have heard lots of times on this podcast. He's one of the coaches that Caleb is particularly good, as all of us are, and you guys know the importance of this, is helping you through that very first client. It's pretty stressful, isn't it? The first client, especially when they're paying you. You're a total beginner at doing this, the two of you. And Courtney, it's one of the mums from the Mother's Group. You better not get, you've got to get this right. So it must be nice to have all of us behind you. That first client is pretty stressful, especially when they're paying you $2,000. So did it go well? Was she happy with the result?
Yeah, she's still a client. She's one of our recurring clients now, and we've got such a strong relationship with her. And she trusts us, and we're very fortunate in being able to land her.
She's actually getting awesome results. So we're really kind of stoked with that.
So your very first build, you kind of hit the ball out of the park, in terms of helping the client. You got a really good result. So that obviously gave you a lot more confidence then, I'm presuming, at that point.
Yeah. 100%. And the other thing that we have tried to do is so if I go back to BNI, I know a lot of champions have joined BNI. The way that it worked for me in our region, there were no seats for web developers or web designers. So I jumped into an SEO seat in a brand new chapter that was just starting up. And so it's actually helped us to focus more on the lots and lots of SEO clients, which has been, great to have the recurring income. We still, open to and doing as many website builds as we can. We've got a few going at the moment, but the SEO recurring income has been one of our focuses as well within the digital agency strategy.
Yep. So you guys are focused on that. And because obviously we'll talk about that in a little minute, why you're doing that, because it's a really, really smart strategy in this current market, by the way, which you guys well know. So in terms of then the next steps, so you pretty quickly are charging $2,000 a website build. What happened then? As you started to get more clients on and you're backing yourself, you decided you say, Derek, you could do this more full time. Did the networking take up the most time getting the clients, or was it learning, or was it building the sites, or all of the above? What was happening? Because it sounds like things would have been I'm guessing things are pretty busy at that point.
Yeah, it's an ebb and flow, for us, because at the start, we got lucky with that first client that Court mentioned, and that took up a lot of our time. And then, we started, like immersing ourselves in the learnings, in the weekly learnings and things like that, and then realized we needed to get more reps in. So then there was a phase where we were through BNI, just broadening our networks and getting website builds and new clients, but we weren't charging them anywhere near that kind of money, to be honest. Like the first one was an outlier because she was large.
Gotcha.
But so we were still building, like $1,000 websites, having a $500 SEO client and things like that not too long ago. And then once we started getting more clients, then we got busy again, and so then we'd focus on all the learning, and then we'd so it's kind of like a bit of an ebb and flow we've found, and so it's only just now that we're starting to, I guess, treat ourselves as more of a serious business and trying to get better processes in place. This is again where the community and where the coaches have been invaluable, is just kind of helping us at times when we're starting to get a bit flustered to step back, share some, really actionable things that we can do so we can actually get better processes in place. So we're kind of not, constantly chasing our tail like we were in our first 6 months, where it's like overwhelm. And then, kind of, then it's like, when's the next client's coming from? And it's kind of like just it's the, yeah.
So once you got into that flow, was there another catalyst? Like, was there because how did you get to this point where you're now doing 15K? Let's have a look at that.
Yep.
What happened next? So you're building sites for quite small businesses, simple little sites, and $1,000, just like everyone else. But obviously you really stepped that up. What do you think was the next catalyst?
Yeah. So earlier this year, through BNI. So it was actually what they call a tier 2 referral. So a referral from a referral. We actually got a referral to I won't say who, but like an RTO client that when I had an initial meeting with them. So essentially I got connected through BNI and had an initial meeting with them, found out that they've been engaging like a really well-known digital agency, spending over 6 figures per annum, and also an additional 6 figures per annum on paid ads. And they were really unhappy, and they didn't know what they were getting in return. And the more I was kind of asking questions, the more I was looking at their website, even at this point, I was thinking, we can do this. And so I didn't even think that we would get the client, but I put an offer out there. And then a few weeks later, got requested a meeting with their CEO, and they've basically just signed on the spot. And so that was our first. It was $4,000 client, but now we're actually charging them $5,000 a month. And so that was and so that was a real confidence builder, credibility builder. Like, we're still working really closely with them. Feel like we've been able to help them in a short space of time too. So that was another catalyst, I reckon, where we kind of realized everything we're learning in Champions, is still, like we've learned so much, and we're actually able to deliver way more value than what we even realized. And that's kind of been a really regular occurring for us.
And I think that, Derek, thanks for sharing that, because that's a common theme that we see in the Champions community, isn't it? All of us are talking about it, like on the private Facebook group and with all the coaches and stuff. Like Calum often says, and all the other coaches are saying as well, we outcare the competition, but even first-year champions, like you've just said, are doing better jobs than big established digital agencies, because you care so much for the client and you're getting them these results. Because we should mention to our overseas listeners, RTO stands for Registered Training Organisation. This is a big company. It's national. It's across Australia. And you guys, in your first year on Champions, are doing better SEO than an established digital agency. Well done, guys. And at half the price. Like they're, that agency was charging them 6 figures, plus there's another 6 figures on top of that for paid traffic. And how did you, here's a mindset thing, because I think there'll be a lot of people sitting there listening, like, how did you feel? How did you deal with the CEO? Did you tell him, look, we're not the size of that digital agency, we're a boutique agency, How did you approach that? Were you up front on there? Like, how do you approach a sale?
Yeah, like so we're up front that we were. I didn't say how young, but I said that
Yep.
that we were a young agency. We're a husband and wife team, and they could see that, like
Yeah.
and essentially, this is probably where my corporate sales background helped in that. One thing that whenever we've been dealing with clients, like preparing proposals and things like that, has been something I've been very, I've had a lot of experience in. So I was able to put together a proposal, ask the right questions, and just give him confidence that we were, and still to this day, the feedback that we get from them is just how hands-on and, like how much we care. Like, I know that I'm kind of repeating back to you what you said, but yeah, I think about all our clients, and that's kind of one thing that we do get. I feel like with some of the bigger agencies, the feedback that we've gotten, like this RTO client, their old agency was unresponsive. They weren't really providing reports. They had no idea what they were doing. Whereas we just share every single thing that we do, for better or for worse. And so it's worked quite well.
Yeah. So you can position yourself as this, and anyone listening to this, you can do this in business, and especially with a digital agency, you can position yourself as like a boutique, high-end, husband and wife team that just gets the job done. And yeah, we're expensive for a reason, because we're good. We're good at what we do. And because one of the things that I love about what you've done, you don't have to say the name, but you've just picked up a few other clients. Give us some of the numbers as well. This is recurring monthly income, if you're listening to. So Derek and Courtney are charging $5,000 a month. That's just with one client. What are some of the other big clients that you've got, and what are you charging them? Just so we've got an idea.
There's a broad range, because some of our earlier clients that we're charging $500 a month, we still keep them and we treat them like every other client.
Awesome.
But we, funnily enough, when we're just away on the weekend, we just got a call from another client who owns a series of vets, so that he's come back and accepted our $3,000 a month offer. So we've got kind of like a broad range of clients paying, like according to the complexity of their businesses. But we're now probably one or maybe two smaller clients away from clicking over the 20K a month of recurring income. That's excluding the website build. So, and that was our next goal, was to get from recurring income, the 20K threshold.
That's a month.
A month. Yeah.
Well done, guys. So if you're listening to this, that's not even including the website build bits. Yeah. So you guys are very like Pete and Renee. They don't really worry too much about the website build bits. It's all about that recurring revenue. So you guys are already just about to hit 20,000 a month, just as a couple working from home. So let's look at that. To get to this 20 grand a month, what staff do you have?
Yeah, so our first, and we've made every mistake imaginable. Like, we've had a crack at everything. Like Upwork. We've had all different kinds of experiences. But yeah, we've had two VAs that didn't work out. But they were great learning. So good at the time. But just for us, we needed people that we could rely on. Because we're hands-on and we want to be responsive. We didn't get that from our VAs. So we made an educated kind of gamble, because it's a little bit more expensive to hire someone onshore. So one of our clients, our first client that we mentioned, parted ways with a young young marketer who was looking for a job. So we offered her a part-time job, and she's working out really nicely. She just helps out with a lot of the grunt work, and she's just, a absolute sponge, and we'd love to put her through the program at some point. And then we've got a tech, someone helping out, not full-time, someone we found on Upwork to help out with all the tech-related and web dev stuff that we need.
And where's he from? What country is he based in?
So it's a she, and she's from India. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of like our team. We're pretty
you got a female team.
Yes, that's I do.
Awesome. I didn't even think of that, Matt. You're right.
Yes.
So really, though, this is impressive. And if you're listening to this, you don't have to rush out and hire heaps of staff. Realistically, you two are the ones, this is very hands-on. You guys are building the sites from total newbies to building sites. So you guys, and I will say your sites stand out. Like you guys both build beautiful sites. Are each of you building the sites, or so Courtney, do you have a crack at it as well in your 7 till midnight run,
Yes,
or on your Fridays?
So it is predominantly me doing the website builds. I enjoy that side of things. Like,
so it's not you, Derek. So you're not.
Like, so we've got 4 going. Like, so I'm building 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's more Court. Like, Court loves it, and I love it too. But it's kind of the way it's working is that we kind of play to our strengths, and I feel like that's hers, and a lot of the data is me.
Yeah, so I build the website and then I hand it over to Derek just to have a look at it from an SEO perspective as well, just to make sure we've...
So a little bit like Emission Avenue as well, same sort of thing. So except hopefully you weren't giving birth and building a website like Avenue.
Oh, that's funny.
Those guys are legends, aren't they? Other champions, go and listen to their podcast interview with them. But in a way, so Avenue is the same thing. They're both very hands-on initially in their... Now, they were hitting results like yours in the second year. But same thing, Amish was on the front end with the clients, and then in the evenings, Avenue would work on, they started a new family, and Avenue would work on building the site. So in a way, that's, whilst you both can build sites, that's sort of what you guys are doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how have you found working together? Because both of, a lot of people listening to this, as you guys know, are from very similar backgrounds to you guys, working full-on corporate roles, 5 till 9. How you find and never work together as a couple? So whereas Liz and I take it for granted. How are you two going with that one? And I know you're still new to it, but how's that worked out?
Like, it's pretty good most of the times. Like, at times, we do have our challenges. We butt heads like any other couple, but like, I think we bring the best out of each other. Like, we push each other past our strengths, and like, I think we do bring the best out of each other, and we can listen to each other and take on board what we both say most of the time.
And I think what I'll add too, coming from corporate, we never really had a connection. Like yes, we talked about work, but it's different when you're actually living the business. So we're connecting on brand new levels. We went down to the Yarra for Court's birthday and to celebrate our 12 months in business. But we're able to do a 5-year kind of planning, mapped out, the next kind of year and then next 5 years of our life and business. And we could do that before, but it's completely different. So yes, I think I annoy my wife, but because I'm pretty opinionated. I like to kind of get my own way, but I think, we work pretty well.
Yeah.
That's well done, guys. That's really cool. And it's good to see that I love what you guys are doing, because it's, like the sort of thing we teach here is you're celebrating your wins too. So you're celebrating 12 months together in business. So if you're listening to this, this is really important. And wasn't it cool when you guys went away, you said you picked up a client anyway?
Yeah, it's lucky.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we weren't sure that one's going to come through, but it did.
Yeah.
While you're celebrating, but also you did planning and stuff together. So you're planning this as a family now, moving out. Plus you're building an amazing asset because you're getting recurring revenues. So one thing I would like to point out to you both and to anyone listening to this, not only now are you, okay, you've got to put in the hard yards to build this up, and there's work involved, you're making all this money, but also you're building an asset that, as we know, a very attractive asset now down the track. So if you did want to sell, not that I'm saying to sell your agency, but I'm presuming you guys, well, we know from coaching calls with you both, you got a 5-year goal, and you can sell out for 3 to 4 to 5 times the profit of that. So it's not like in the old days when you guys used to work for a wage. When you quit that, you've got nothing except for your super. Now you've got an actual asset here that you can sell. And I think the two of you will do really well with this. As we've heard on this podcast, it's very popular to buy up digital agencies now because they're so leveraged, and particularly these recurring revenues. And I want to say a big congratulations to you both for you're already in such an quick amount of time to already be building and focus so much on recurring revenues. And I think that's in part a big thanks to all the other champions out there, like not just Peter Renee and Emission Avenue, but all the others that we've interviewed here. Like you mentioned Richard Perrin and Nathan Alexa and Calum and Greg and and Chris, all the coaches and stuff, and Tony, everyone that's helped you. You've got a good model. And I think now to see the result that you guys have achieved so quickly I think it's a conglomeration of everyone that's gone before you guys. And I think one of the other, I think let's share it with the public. What do you reckon, guys? In my opinion, one of the top secret things that you're doing, if you're listening to this, you want to hear this, that is actually driving a lot of leads and success. And it's something that we teach here in the Champions. What's the specific challenge that I'm happy for you to say, Derek, publicly, because it is so powerful and I love what you've done with that challenge. What's the specific challenge that we get you to do that, as you know,
so the old 100 call challenge. So we did that after the boot camp. Was that in February? Yeah. And we,
boot camp.
like many champions who jumped straight on that and did it. And, but we actually, that's part of our weekly routine. Like, no lie, it's still part of our routine now. Every Monday morning when we come in, we map out a target niche, and then we look online and we just, reach out cold. It's not, it's something that we prioritize every week. And then Court's also doing some cold outreach on social media as well. And then when you tie in BNI too, so it's hard to say where our new clients are predominantly coming from, because I feel like BNI is still the biggest contributor. But just getting out there and doing the 100 call challenge and kind of continuing it just keeps us focused whenever there's an opportunity there. Like the one with the glass tinter, we've got a car, and so we need our glass tinted, and it's just in habit for us to bring up what we do. And now he's a client, so it's not rocket science, but it's, equally easy not to do these things than to do them, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And like we say, GST, get stuff done, and and reps. And so if you're listening to this and you're wanting these sorts of results, it's about setting an intention and getting serious on it. And I think you two are the epitome of that. You've just gotten so serious to the point where, and again, I'm not recommending you do this, but you quit your job and you just went, I'm going to back yourselves for 12 months and go hard and see what you can achieve. And that includes through to one thing I'm really impressed with the two of you is whenever I read your accountability emails and listening to the coaches that are working with you and stuff, you guys are massive implementers. You're implementing every single thing that we teach. You have a crack at it. And then case in point is the 100 call challenge, which we know is tough. That's how Liz and I grew most businesses that we've ever owned. And you guys have done the same. You've just stuck at it. You're doing this on a weekly basis, not just as a one-off challenge. And it's worked. Massive congratulations. And it is impressive. Between the two of you as a couple, you are implementing perfectly. And I think the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, guys. And I do want to say, a massive thank you for coming along today to share this. Well, do you have any final words of wisdom? I think there's so much there that you've shared. It's just amazing. But do you have any other final words of wisdom for anyone listening to this who's starting out on this journey?
I think for me, I think we've kind of mentioned these things, but I think the things that have helped us almost in order. One is just being clear on our strategy, rather than kind of getting distracted with all different strategies. I think being crystal clear and laser focus has been kind of like almost a mandatory kind of thing for us. The second one is trusting the process. There's been times where we're like, far out 100 call challenge, but and the guest posting challenge and all these kind of things. But then, we quickly just go, you know what, that they're all there for a reason. So we've done everything and given it our absolute best we could in trusting the process. And probably the third one is just, we just try and take action every day. I think your don't think, just do mantra is so simple, but so powerful for us. And that's kind of whenever we've had doubts, I know Court's just told me to pick up the phone or do something or learn more or whatever it is, So
I love it. They say, Derek, behind every great man, there's an equally or greater woman. And Court, it sounds unreal. I do want to say a big congratulations to you both, and obviously a big thank you for helping to inspire so many people today. But seriously, a big congratulations. I know how difficult, all of us listening to this know how difficult it is when you're raising two kids under 5, and Court, you're working in a very challenging, very senior role. You've got that going on, and then you come home and you got to drive Derek and work as a couple in a
Yeah.
whole new sphere that you've never been trained in. You know,
Mhm.
seriously, massive round of virtual applause all around.
Thank you.
Really, really well done.
Yeah.
No,
Thank you. No,
thank you.
it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey so far. So we're very excited to see what brings the next 12 months.
Yeah, we
I'm
can't
sure
wait.
it's going to be great things, guys. You just need to get out there, buy up some new digital agencies as well to add into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Go-getters like that'll be a no-brainer, I think, once you
Mhm.
get that lift off. And build your team. That's the next step, because really you've done it together. That's the other inspiring thing from today's interview. You can do it just working from home as a couple, get to the point where you're at. And now I would be recommending you start to look at building your team a little bit more so that you can go to the next level. And I would definitely, in this marketplace, I would be looking at buying up other digital agencies to start adding in, even just quite small ones. Just find them out there, you know, even under 10 grand, under 20 grand, as you know, a lot of the champions are doing exactly that.
Be doing that.
And I think the sum of all the parts will be a lot bigger. And also what you guys said is work to that 5-year plan and vision for you guys and your family. And it's fantastic. I think, you know, beyond that, you're doing everything 100%. So well done, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you.
Thanks.